Hey everyone, my name is Patrick Lyons, and in just a moment we will be joined by Boss Rutten, the creator and inventor of the O2 lung trainer, also known as the o2Trainer, UFC Hall of Famer, and as you know, many other names. But any questions that you have are welcome. We're definitely going to be focusing on questions around the o2Trainer itself. So if you have any things you want to know from Boss directly, he will be joining in just a moment here. I'm going to send him an invite now. And then we will get him in here. Focus on breath work, breath training, lung training, the o2Trainer product itself, anything like that. Feel free to ask away. He should be joining momentarily. It looks like he just joined the call, and I have invited him in to join us. Good to see all of you guys joining in from wherever. Feel free to comment where you're joining from. Would love to know where you guys are coming at us here in the live video from. I invite you again, Boss, see if you can join. And also request to join, Boss. All right, here we go. He has requested to join. I just accepted. All right, he should be coming in here shortly. Boss, I have clicked accept, but for some reason it didn't seem to go through. It says Boss is unable to join. I just clicked invite, Boss, to see if you can accept the request and join that way. All right. There we go.
Boom.
Hey, Boss, how are you doing?
Doing good, my friend. How you doing?
I'm well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Let me see if I can print something really fast here.
Yeah, no worries.
Give me a, because I'm such a dark spot.
Yeah.
Lighten me up a little bit.
It's like we got a ton of people join in as soon as you enter the chat. As you guys are joining, feel free to drop any questions that you have for Boss Rutten, El Guapo. Any questions you have for the UFC Hall of Famer himself. Anything especially about the o2Trainer. If you have questions about breath work, about lung training, about his history with asthma, about what the different client experiences have been like with people who have used the o2Trainer. And then if we have time for other questions, we can get to those as well. And then also feel free to drop a message in the chat about where you are joining us from. I know you guys are all over the world. It's always cool to see where you're coming from. What do you say?
Argentina.
Yeah.
I saw somebody from Argentina.
Yeah, people from all over. And as you guys are submitting questions, you can submit them officially in the Q&A section, and we prefer that way just because then we can pop your question up on the screen as we are answering it. That just makes it a little bit easier than having to scroll through the chat. So please go to the Q&A submission area at the bottom, and you can submit your questions that way. But we got questions already coming through the chat, so I will try and get to at least a couple of those as people officially submit in the Q&A. So one person says it's the best breathwork amplifier out there. So people are showing some love. Someone says, about to use my o2Trainer tonight for my run. Okay, first question we have. The breath trainer, which I think they mean the o2Trainer, is it okay for people with asthma?
It's really good for people with asthma. Actually, it cured me from my asthma and for a lot of other people. Now, I always tell this, if you have an allergy-induced asthma, if you exercise-induced, 100% is gone. Allergy-induced, it cannot take the allergy away, but your breathing becomes so strong, you'll breathe straight through. And that's with me. So like I have allergy-induced, I was talking about it a while ago, I had a really bad attack while we were having dinner. And I had no clue where it came from. I think it was like the pollen or something in the air. And I was freaking out, but then I realized also I started breathing wrong. And I go, whoa, wait. So it kind of threw me in a time warp from when I was young, I think. And then immediately I started using my belly. And nobody noticed at the dinner that I had something. Afterwards, I left earlier, but nobody noticed anything because I was just able to breathe straight through it. And that was a pretty naughty one.
Also, one thing I just remembered, obviously a lot of people don't yet know about the o2Trainer. They haven't been exposed to it. They haven't used it before. Can you show it to them and then also just kind of talk about the product itself, the design, what it does, why it works, that sort of thing?
So what I always tell the people, this is the most important thing to know, because all these things I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know. So, and so I assume that a lot of people don't know that. Like, lungs don't have any muscle. It starts with that. If you can't expand your chest, you can't breathe, you die. That's how it works. You know, chest expansion is everything. You expand your chest, there's a vacuum between your body and your lungs, and that vacuum will open up your lungs. So your lungs open up by your 11 pounds of breathing muscles that you have, which of course is the diaphragm. That's the biggest muscle for inhaling, that is. And your external intercostals actually. The external ones are for inhaling, internal ones are for exhaling, together with your obliques and your core and your abs and all that kind of stuff. We focus on the inhaling part, because the more you can expand your chest, the more air you can pull in. Now, a lot of people, they start, when I say chest, the bottom of your chest, I should say that, because otherwise people start breathing like this. This is what 95% of the people do. They breathe, raising their shoulders. I was breathing like that. When you look at my fights in Japan, in the corner, you see me breathe like that, completely wrong. That is completely gone. Like, I still, till this day, I mention this every time, when I come out of a hard round, like hitting it back, every time I'm amazed. I go, and normally it was, I just couldn't keep up with my breath. So what it does is it attacks those muscles, those 11 pounds of breathing muscles that you have. It works out. It's weight training for your breathing muscles. And once you start working those muscles out, they become strong and they can push that chest out more. Not only that, for instance, gassing, when you're gassing in a fight or in any event, it doesn't really matter. That is literally what the body is doing. It starts regulating your blood flow. So if you have oxygenated blood, and imagine you're boxing and suddenly you start gassing, well, the body starts redirecting that blood. It takes it away from the limbs that you're using, believe it or not, and it sends it to the number one priority in the body, which are your breathing muscles, your 11 pounds of breathing muscles. Because if you don't breathe for 3-4 minutes, you're dead. You see, so that's why the body is doing that. Now, what we found out now, just preliminary studies are saying that your second wind is your diaphragm being warmed up. So with that all in context, and now also I throw another curveball at you, how does your stamina increase? Your stamina increases because if you work out a muscle over and over again, it becomes more efficient. And I always say efficient means it uses less oxygen, therefore your stamina starts increasing. Now, when you're gassing, the blood gets stolen and it is sent to your breathing muscles. But if your breathing muscles are updated and you make those more efficient, then they don't have to steal that blood anymore. So instead of gassing here, you're going to be freaking gassing over there, way ahead. That's why every Olympian, every Olympic endurance athlete is using inspiratory muscle training. This is not me saying, this is talking about 1,000 published medical journals. They will all say the same stuff. So I would really focus for the people, realize that you're breathing while using your belly, not your chest. And that's another great thing about the o2Trainer. It will force you to breathe the correct way using your breathing muscles. Because if you raise your shoulders, if you stand in front of the mirror and I take a deep breath and you see yourself raising your shoulders, you can get up to 5 times more oxygen by simply breathing correctly. Now, if you make those correct breathing muscles also stronger and give them more endurance, that's what the o2Trainer does. So that's the goal.
Cool. And yeah, just to add to what Boss just said, in terms of like the actual structure of the product, you kind of have one side with a tiny hole, one side with a flap. And what that means is as soon as you breathe in through the mouthpiece, this flap closes. And that means that the only place that you have to breathe air in through is this little hole. And so the o2Trainer comes with, I think it's 15 or 16 different overloadable sizes of holes, meaning that, you know, if the biggest hole is here and then the smallest hole is here, the smaller and smaller you go, the harder your lungs have to work to get air in through that tiny hole. I think Boss and I both pretty much use 1.5. Is that usually what you're at still?
I'm also, yeah.
Yeah, so that means it's a 1.5 millimeter hole, and that's all that you're using to breathe in through. So it's an incredible product, and we can get to some of the questions coming in. So one question says, what determines the price of the o2Trainer?
It's now it's $59.95. It's an American-made product now. We took it away from China 2 years ago, and then we said, you know, we're going to support the local people here in America. So it's a little bit more expensive. But the good thing about it is it's not electronic. It's not, nothing can break. You can throw this thing against the wall, you can stomp on it, and it will not break. So you buy one, it's good for the rest of your life. It's like a dumbbell. You know, some weight for your biceps, for everything. You can transform your body. With this thing, it's weight training for your breathing muscles in all different kind of weights with that side. And that's how you can train your body, your breathing muscles.
Cool. Then one question says, every time I use the O2Trainer, a lot of spit comes out. Is there something I can do about this?
Yes, you have to swallow at the very end of your inhale. So as soon as you're sitting straight with the exercises, swallow first before you exhale, because needless to say, is the saliva and you're moving forward. That's a problem, of course. That saliva might come out. Now, with me, it doesn't happen anymore. Sometimes it does. If I ate something maybe before just I did it that makes my mouth really watery, then it might happen. But if you don't like it at all, you can simply skip the breathing exercise. Now, doing the breathing exercises, these are really smart people who came up with this. This is not me. If you have guys like the Usain Bolt doing the breathing exercises, I would really do the breathing exercises. But it's not, doesn't mean that if you sit straight and use the O2Trainer and really focus on your core to expand the bottom of your rib cage, that it doesn't work. It will work, because I walk with the O2Trainer. I walk my dog, and that's why this cap is on it. This is cap number 3. And I put that on while I walk the dog, because now I'm in motion, you know, and then I'll do it for like 7 or 8 minutes straight. And dude, you're going to have a workout. You're going to feel your core. A lot of people, what people don't understand is I have bodybuilders buying it for their abs right now, because they never had abs, some people, and they go like, dude, I'm getting abs, because it's a hard workout. Because this is another great thing. I tell people, oh, it takes about 4.5 minutes a day. And now everybody jumps on it. Oh, I can do that. Yeah, you can do that for about a week, and then you're going to push you out again. That's how it is, because you go, oh, it's actually work. You'll start sweating from it. It's a core attack, you know. But guess what? You do this for a month, you don't start sweating anymore, because it becomes normal, and that's when everything really starts coming together, because then you automatically also start breathing the correct way, and that by itself will do wonders for you. Go online, type in how many people do breathe correct. You'll be blown away. 95% of us are breathing wrong.
Cool. All right, and then we got like 3 different questions that are nearly the same. So I'm just going to pop one up on the screen that just says, where can we buy the new model? And then other people were asking, like, can you get it in stores? What's the link? That sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. So in Europe, it's o2trainer.eu. And then here in America, it's o2trainer.com, or you simply go to Amazon. That's it. Put it in the Google search, O2Trainer, and don't worry, I got Zero2Trainer also protected. So if people do Zero2Trainer.com, you will be directed to the O2Trainer website as well, because I saw that coming, because everybody's doing that with phone numbers as well. So that's why I just made sure that I have that as well. That's it. It's simple, basic, works like it's
awesome. And then this one is, I have the older model O2Trainer. Is that one still good, or do I need to upgrade? And I think just like as an extension of that question, I know that some people do upgrade. So maybe you can also speak to like, why would someone upgrade if they decided to?
Okay, so with the other O2Trainer, this is what I always tell people. Your mouth gets closed. It's like this, because the mouthpiece is thicker. Now, I challenge you to put your finger in your mouth like that, and now try to swallow. It's going to be very hard to swallow, because you simply can't. You want to clench your jaw. So with the new O2Trainer, what I did, I simply took the most used scuba diving mask, that because you can clench your jaw and then you can swallow, and that's going to stop the swallowing. The other thing that we changed is the millimeter. So if we are talking about 14 size 14 right now, that is 14 millimeter. At the old model, that's the hardest setting. That's the 1 millimeter. But now I thought, you know what? I said, what is for 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter, 2.5, and then it goes 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's another thing that changed. We have a 0.5 millimeter at 1.5 and 2.5 millimeters, because we realized that the gap between 1 millimeter and 1 millimeter, although for the eye, it's not a lot, it's a lot of difference. I mean, I would go from like 3 minutes to 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I said, why not make a 1.5 one? So, you know, you can gradually build up to that. But those are the only differences. I wouldn't worry about it. Keep your old O2Trainer, because it will work. You know, sometimes maybe, because that's what I did with the old O2Trainer, I take it out of my mouth when I exhale, because of the drooling, it might happen.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Then next question is, can it help reduce snoring?
100%. And listen, everything that I'm telling here is backed up by published medical journals. So you go to my website, o2Trainer.com, and then you click on the tab Science, and there you have a list drop down, and sleep apnea is in there as well. And that will direct you to a published medical journal, which is something I cannot doctor. Nobody can. You can't edit that. Once it's on, it's on. It's only the truth. And then you can see what it does. And it's good for COPD, asthma, cystic fibrosis, anxiety, PTSD, back problems. I mean, adjusting to high altitude, sleep apnea. I mean, there's a whole freaking list. Go through it and then see for yourself, because that's the proof, right? That's the medical proof. It's clinically proven, not clinically tested.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next question. How do you use the o2Trainer while walking?
Very simple. You put it in your mouth. You completely exhale. So that means also, when I say completely exhale, I want you to squeeze your core together. This is another great thing. And then you just inhale. But I want to jump on. So you just inhale with force, and then you completely exhale again. That's it. You're just walking with the dog. If you say you don't have the time, 5 or 6 minutes a day, but you have an animal that you walk around, or you walk, even if it's 5-minute walk to the car, whatever it is. If you got 5 minutes, you can put the 5 minutes to work by simply using the o2Trainer. What did I want to say about, I was jumping on something that I wanted to say before with the dog.
Using it while walking with the dog?
While walking with the dog, that's what I like to do a lot, because then you use all the breathing muscles as well. The difference is, so if you attack all your breathing muscles at once, yeah, it's only for 4 minutes. It's not that bad. But the breathing exercises, what you do with the breathing exercises, for instance, breathing exercise 1 is you lean over, you squish all the air out of your belly, and then you start inhaling with power. I'm going to write it down now, because it just popped up what I wanted to say, so I'm going to use that right after. So that will attack the front breathing muscles, and then the next day, so I alternate between exercise number 1 and number 2. The next day I attack my back breathing muscles, and this is, you know what I'm going to say, if you do this for the very first time and you use your back breathing, do 15 repetitions. Don't do the 30 that we say, because the next day you're going to be in intense pain, muscle aches, that is, because you're going to attack muscles that you never used before. That, to me, changed the whole game once I start adding the back breathing muscles, because now I have the 360-degree circumferential breathing muscles that expand. Now, what I wanted to say with exhaling is very important also to do that without resistance, with resistance. The problem is, if you put it together in one product, so you exhale and inhale simultaneously with resistance, it's not working. That's not a good product. But if you first do your inhale workout, and then you take the cap off with the flap, and you put another cap like this on, and then you do the exhale, complete exhale every time, deep inhale, complete exhale, and use your whole core to squeeze everything together, that is actually really good for you, because the more air, old air, you can push out of your lungs, the more you can fill it up with fresh air. So.
Cool. And I think this next question is actually going to kind of feed right off of what you just said, but o2Trainer versus the training mask 3.0, I guess just training mask, elevation mask in general, what are the pros and cons?
The elevation mask is that's in an exhale, you know, simultaneously. So, and tests for that are not that good. Also, what it doesn't do, it doesn't have a real hard setting. So for the o2Trainer, I got rid of my asthma by working out with the o2Trainer. But then I got in contact with somebody who trained Usain Bolt and other people, and Dr. Belisa Vranic, she was trying to make it, stop doing that, just do the breathing exercise. They're way more effective because they really target the specific muscles that you are using for breathing. So that, it's very easy. You can, if you want to work out with it, do it, because that's how I cured my own asthma. But right now, I just do 5 minutes. That's what I personally do. I put a timer on 5 minutes, and I just do 5-minute breathing exercises. And that's it, and then you're done.
Cool. All right, the next one says breathing out through nose, question mark. So I think they're asking, like, should you be breathing out through your nose or your mouth? And maybe you can also address that, like, should you breathe in through your nose or through your mouth when using this?
Good. Yeah, exhaling, you don't have to breathe out through your nose. You can, if you want. It doesn't really matter, because that's what the flap is for, see? You get, it's unhampered. You can completely exhale. But if you want to add your nose as well, don't worry about it. For the nose breathers, because this is the question that always comes, but I breathe through my nose. Yeah. this is 5 minutes a day, guys. You know, you're doing this for 5 minutes a day. What you're doing is you make your breathing muscles stronger, your inhale muscles. So guess what? After you did this, then you're going to be able to breathe in even better through your nose because your muscles, you made them stronger. It's not like you're walking around with this thing. You know, that's what I always say to people who tell me that, yeah, I only breathe through my nose. If they come up with an invention that you can do it in your nose, that's what they say. Dude, this has been around since the freaking gladiators in respiratory muscle training. You don't believe that somebody says, you know what? I'm going to make one for my nose because nobody has that. That has to be the best. But there is none. Why do you think there is none? Because it's proven that you don't need to. You just make your breathing muscles strong. It's almost like me saying I go to the gym, I do my biceps workout, and then while I'm going out of the gym, I take my bicep, the weights with me, and I carry them everywhere I go. It's not like that. I only use that for an hour to make my body stronger, to make the muscles stronger, and after that, I give it rest and protein, and then I'm going to be stronger. So don't worry about it. And also for stamina, if you only breathe through your nose, try swimming for stamina. Good luck with that. Yeah, the real professionals, okay, they breathe in through the nose, is what I heard. But still, if you're in a fight, you get your nose smashed in, what, you're not going to fight anymore? You stop? No, of course you're going to fight. What if you have a cold? You're going to stop? You're not going to fight? Are you not going to do anything? Of course you're going to do it. You open your mouth. That's what people do. So don't worry about it. Yes, it's really good to breathe through your nose, and you should try to do that all the time. But it's not the end all, you know? If this nose is broke and I have to open my mouth, trust me, you get more air in it anyway.
Awesome. One thing I'm curious about, and I'm sure that other people on the live are curious, what would you say is the single greatest benefit that you personally have experienced from using the O2Trainer?
My stamina. It's like what I said, like every single time. You know, I had, and I used this in another live version too, and I say this in interviews. I had a voice message from Lyoto Machida, who I gave the O2Trainer to, and he's, those karate guys, I always say that, man, they build a habit that they do it. So he was doing it for about 4 months straight, and then he got COVID. Was a week in bed, he told me, and then he started training with his students again. And his students, by the way, are fighting, competing, professional guys. And he says, boss, I was outworking everybody. He says, the first time in my life that my muscles got tired, my breathing was in complete control. And that's with me also. Like every time, and I said this at the opening of this video, when I do a hard workout, I'm amazed. I come back and I tell my wife, I go, it's insane. And this is, I'm doing it for 5 years, but it still blows me away that I don't have to go, that is literally, I'm breathing like that while I come out of a freaking crazy round. That's a big difference because now everything starts to slow down. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, cortisol levels start to go down. It keeps you more calm and relaxed. So yeah, that's the biggest benefit. And another thing that really is a big difference with me is my balance. My balance, like literally people, because I put my socks on standing on one leg, I'm completely standing still. And I never had that before. I had good balance, but I have great balance now. And I thought, is that what it's doing? That's exactly what it's doing. And all these military guys and all the people who sharpshooters, what do you think? They breathe using the chest? Watch, I hold the gun, right? You think they breathe to the chest? No, they're all diaphragmatically breathing because there's no movement when you breathe diaphragmatically. Plus, these guys are elite athletes and they know how to breathe. And if they didn't know how to breathe, some people taught them how to breathe.
That's awesome. All right, well, I think that is all the time we have today for Questions with Boss. As a reminder, the product is called the O2Trainer. You can just Google search, O2Trainer, or go to o2trainer.com, or you can also get it on Amazon. If you're in Europe, you can go to o2trainer.eu. It's only $59.99. It's American made, and I've been using this thing every day for about a year now. It's definitely been a life-changing thing, as it has been for pretty much everyone. And along those lines, you can go to the reviews on this O2Trainer page and just see the countless unsolicited testimonials of people who've used it. It's an amazing thing. So, boss, thank you for your time, and thank you for making such a great product.
Thank you very much for doing this, Patrick. Godspeed, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.
Absolutely. Godspeed.
Bye.